On this episode of By the Wayside, the show that is dedicated to introducing you to creative people, I sit down with the owner of the Black River Letterpress and Paper Company. We don't talk Dundies, we talk creativity. That was funnier in my head. Stick around. Welcome back to this episode of By the Wayside. Again, I am your host, Jordan Middlebrook, and with me today, owner of Is it the Black River or is it Black River?
River.
Black River, okay.
Yeah.
This is all staying in the show, Brett. It's all staying in the show.
Awesome.
Owner of Black River Letterpress and Paper Company, Brett Hill, is with me today. Thank you, Brett, for taking the time, coming to WAYSIDE Comics and Cocktails, and allowing me to introduce the audience to you, another creative person.
Absolutely. Pleasure to be here.
Awesome. So we're going to get right into the questions because what you do, I find absolutely fascinating. And it's one of those things because the mandate of the show is to introduce the audience to creative people. And it's one of those like, oh, they literally do that in my backyard. Like this person lives next door to me. And we're going to touch on a little bit about the location or the feel of Black River Letterpress and Paper Company a little later in the episode. But if there's a best way to tell someone that they're dying, I think Black River Letterpress is a great way to do it. Can you tell me what that is?
We print greeting cards on antique printing presses. The best way to describe letterpress printing is because people don't really understand what it is. So I say, have you ever been to Black Creek Pioneer Village and you've gone to the printing shop and you see the guys with the big cast iron machines and lead type, like what we have here?
Yeah, right in front of the... Yeah. So they use letters, like cast iron letters.
Lead.
Why did I say cast iron?
Cast iron machines.
Cast iron machines, and then they use lead. Can I touch this as lead?
Yeah, it's fine.
Don't eat it though.
Don't eat it. I'd wash your hands afterwards. People are. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Some people wear gloves. I don't.
All right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
So when Black River Letterpress creates their greeting cards, yes, they use these letters.
For the majority of our letterpress stuff, and then we have been introducing like digital printed stuff because I'm an illustrator as well. So sometimes a lot of the cards we produce are done on, we find like antique printing blocks. So I typically, I'll go through, like if I get an idea in my head for something and I don't have an image block, like I've been doing this is year 11 of collecting letterpress material. So I have hundreds of blocks. I'll find people selling stuff on Facebook. Like my dad was a printer, my shed's full. So I'll go and buy a box, like a comic book box full of letterpress blocks, and then I'll go through and pick out the ones I want. And sometimes ideas spark automatically, and other times they sit. I've got my studios arranged. I have drawers of ones that I've never used. Again, I could just be having a conversation like we're having, and I could spark something, and a funny idea. So I always have my phone or a notebook with me. I'm always writing stuff down. So what I do is I set up blocks. Like if I have some ideas, I'll put a block face down, and I usually have like a line of them of, it's a really cool image, but I don't have anything in my head yet. So I have a section in my studio where I just lay blocks out, and as I'm doing stuff, I might just randomly get a thought.
Yeah.
Like I have one card. I got a lot of religious prints.
Yeah.
And if you look at my website, you see my humor is kind of twisted and a little off.
Which we will get into, of course.
Right. And so I bought these blocks from the guy, and his last words to me were, I hope you're doing God's work with these. And I said, I'll try.
Wait till some of the people see what some of the greeting cards that you have. It's pretty interesting.
So I have this one of this guy, and he's sitting down, and it's like Sunday school, and he's pointing to a picture of Jesus.
Yeah.
And it's all the kids in front of him. And I had it for so long sitting there, and then I walked by one day and went, Jesus Christ, kids, for the last time. And that's how that card was born.
Kind of like you talking about, like you have your notebooks, you have everything, but there's an image that you want to use, you kind of throw it down and you walk by it like every morning with your coffee, you're like, eventually I'll get something, and it'll be that one option, but it'll just go, oh, that's a great idea. And so with your letterpress, with Black River Letterpress and Paper Company, it's started. It's been about 10 years now, right? It's been in business
off and on, yeah.
Okay, so it started with a personal need. How did it start? How did it come about?
Well, I studied graphic design and illustration in school. So in design history class, they talked about letterpress, and I can remember the professor bringing in his type case full of type that he had for school. And he's like, when I went to college, we had to typeset everything, all our own assignments, and do it. And so this was the typeface I bought, and that's what I had. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And I'd see type around in antique stores and that kind of stuff, but never really thought anything about it. And then I read a article in a magazine about letterpress, and they printed this whole children's book in letterpress. And this was early 2000s.
Oh, interesting.
Letterpress has been done since late 70s was probably when all the printers, like the papers, got rid of their letterpress presses, and everybody switched to bigger presses, like the offset web printers and that sort of thing. And so I started researching and looking into this and saying, oh, what can I do? What can I do? And I was dating my first wife at the time, and I was talking incessantly about letterpress printing all the time. I have ADHD, and I have like a excessive compulsive disorder. It's not like, you know, where I have to go up every stair the same, that kind of thing. It's more of I get a thought in my head, and my brain goes to that and thinks on that, and I can't let that go. So that's where letterpress came into my life. It was this incessant thought after rereading this article over and over again. And finally, Yasmin said to me, would you just shut up, and can we just, I'll buy one. We got to find it, and then you can shut up about it. So then we started researching where to get one from, and they were so expensive at the time because there were so few of them. And then I found one in Cambridge in a salvage yard.
Oh, interesting.
And I called the guy, and he said, it's here Saturday morning. If you want it, be here at 10 o'clock when I open. Otherwise, I'm melting it down. And then
it's like the rest, as they say, is history, because, you know, you utilized it for, you know, for personal reasons, and then it's kind of come around, and it's become like more of a bigger part of your life.
Yeah. So like the first thing I printed on that was the wedding invitations reminding Yasmin's wedding. And there was personal stuff there. She passed away, and then it was me sitting at home with a letterpress and trying to figure out a way to, I guess, overcome my grief. So that was helping. So I was trying to do, you know, cute, fluffy stuff. I was printing gift tags, Santa Claus stuff, and I needed to get out of the house because I was home by myself all the time. And so I started doing like Christmas shows, and then it was people asking me, oh, you don't have cards? You should do cards. And then, so I tried some Christmas cards, and then I just wasn't really feeling it. And then you're trying to be happy when you're going through grief, and you lost your wife at such a young age. And I'm just trying to figure these things out, and like, what's gonna make me happy? And I was having a bad day. As I said before, I had the blocks sitting out, and there's one of a woman talking on a phone, and I just went, hey. And then that's what started it, was this card. And that's still like one of my most popular cards. And then I just kind of went from there. I just went down this dark path, I guess, and my feelings started coming out. And I'm a big fan of comedy, and I grew up watching SCTV and Kids in the Hall, Upright Citizens Brigade, Monty Python. So I've always had that kind of darker sense of humor. And then all the stuff that was going on in my life, it just kind of
it just clicked.
And then it started going, and then I started, you know, my Instagram, and then I was getting hit up by some pretty famous, like, popular card designers going, oh my God, your stuff's awesome. I love it. Keep going. Cool. And
now with Black River Letterpress and Paper Company, it combines like old techniques and new techniques, or new technology, I guess. Is it hard to keep the old ways fresh?
I don't think so, but I think sometimes you're limited by the technology. So I've kind of adopted that. Like when I started this, I was like, no, I'm only using recycled paper, recycled ink, recycled printing blocks. Everything's recycled. And then I started getting more ideas of different stuff I wanted to do, but I wasn't able to do it with the technology, or it'd be, you know, surfing eBay late at night trying to find the perfect block for this. And then I've been friends with this lady named Kate who owns Quick Brown Fox Letterpress in New York. She was in Brooklyn, and now she's moved upstate, but she was doing everything on polymer. So then we started talking about polymer plates. So I found a person down in Castor, Ontario, I think it's called. Olga. She owns Kiss the Paper Press. So she makes plastic letterpress plates for people, which is like a polymer. So you can do your artwork on the computer, and then you send it to her, and she puts it on like a printing film, and then exposes the plate, and then you basically get a block like this, but it's got nothing on it. It's made of aluminum, and you just peel the back off and stick it down, and
oh, very interesting.
Bob's your uncle. You're good to go.
So I get, it's funny how the way that technology has progressed in all manners of everything, and now there's a way to make the old new again. It's very interesting. Now, with all of the greeting cards and tags that Black River Letterpress and Paper Company makes, do you find that there's one in particular? I know you had talked about the Hey Bitch one, but is there one in particular that is more popular because of the technique, like the old or new technology?
I don't think so, because when I used to do trade shows, or not the trade shows, but a lot of like seasonal gift shows and that kind of stuff before COVID, I haven't done a show since I think 2020, right before they shut everything down. There were people who were specifically interested in it for being letterpress, because my grandfather was a letterpress printer, or my dad was a typesetter, so they knew what it was. Because I have a small printing press, I would take that, start the conversation with people, and they'd be like, this is so cool, and buy a bunch of cards. And then you get other people who'd just be like, you'd explain to them what you do, and they're like, why are you telling me that? I like the card. It doesn't mean anything to me. I'm going to give it to my sister.
It's interesting because when you talk about there's an intimacy when it comes to creating the cards, because you literally touch everything along the way. So I could see, as the artist or the creator of the piece, you say like, here's the card. This is the process that brought that card to your sister. And I could see how you would want to involve your story. It's interesting how that would be. And I feel the same way sometimes with my show. I mean, we had talked when I started setting up and getting everything ready for the show. You said, oh, did you do everything with with your iPhone? Which I do. I've had to rein it back because I started talking about how it records in 4K, but there's like so many other things that I feel the same way. It's like, well, this is why I shoot on my phone, and this is the setting I use on my phone. It's interesting. I want to involve you in my process. So I can see in your shoes.
I love signage, and I drive my wife nuts because we're on vacation. I'm taking pictures of signs.
Yeah.
So we're in Italy, and I'm taking pictures of signs. We're in the Vatican. I'm taking pictures of the floor. And she's like, why are you taking pictures of the floor? I'm like, nobody talks about how gorgeous the floors are in Italy. Yeah. So oddly enough, I want to start like a design review of storefront signage. Like
different strokes for different folks, Brett.
It's my thing, yeah.
The humor of the products from Black River Letterpress and Paper Company, they range from snide to being acceptable by grandma. Which of those requires the most creative thinking? Now, we've talked about the process, but is there sort of what side of that humor requires a bit more process?
I think it goes back to I think it's funny. Other people might not find it funny.
Yeah.
Me and my wife Lisa have very different senses of humor. She finds some of my work offensive. She really likes some of my stuff. It's a real scale. Like, I've had people throw cards at me at trade shows. I've had grandmothers walk by and be ugh, and other people laugh hysterically at my stuff. Like older ladies, and they're like, these are great. Or people who are just like, if you don't like it, move on. And that's how the thing is with controversy anyways. Like, change the channel, change the station.
It's not
you don't have to buy my product. I'm not cramming it down your throat. There's a certain need for it. If you create a product, people are eventually, you're gonna find your tribe.
Your people.
Your people who are gonna come. But then there's also people who misinterpret the cards. So of course, I had a lady come up, and I have one of my first cards. It's a pig, and it says, "I like making bacon with you." And so she's going to her 10-year-old son, going, "You should buy this card for your grandma. It's her birthday. You like making bacon with grandma?" And I'm like, not what it means. You cook bacon with grandma every Sunday morning. I'm like, no, please don't.
Brett, don't go anywhere. I'm not going to go anywhere. We're going to come right back after this break.
Okay.
This is By the Wayside, and we'll be right back.
Welcome back to this episode of By the Wayside. I am still with the owner of, it's such a long one, Black River Letterpress and Paper Company, Brett Hill. He's still with me, and we're still talking about the unique greeting cards, the unique way that you just kind of bring the greeting company together, like the world together in this very fun way. The Society of Illustrators in New York talks about promotion and the evolving nature of illustration.
Letterpress is something that AI is never going to be able to do.
That's true. Well. I agree.
Like it's a complete hands-on. It's hands-on. You can't replicate it. A computer cannot replicate that. AI program cannot replicate it. You can make it look like it, but it's not going to give you the impression on the paper and the feel and
there's a level
overall look of it.
And then because the letterpress is such a physical, it's like physical, like the artwork that you create for each greeting card or the artwork that you create for each letterpressing is a physical demanding thing. Like I sort of demonstrated a little earlier. It's like, you create it and move it unless the robot's going to do it.
Well, and every print is different too because of the way the roller hits it, like the impression, everything. And
they're all unique. Each piece is unique.
Even with the wood type, wood type, it's hundreds of years old. So this has been used. That one not so much. This one's probably over 100 years. This one's I brought J's. J's I have a habit of buying J's because useless fact of the day. A J is the most underused letter in the English alphabet.
Really?
Yeah, it was the last letter. I believe it's the last letter that was added to the English language.
My first name starts with a J.
That's why I brought the J's. But I always buy J's because you don't see J's around. Like J is a hard letter to find.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Because there's also less of them in your set of type.
Oh, that's cool.
It's also located at the bottom right-hand corner of the case because the cases were designed when we were still using Latin as a primary language to write in. So then when they switched stuff over to English or people started typesetting in English, the J and the U were the last two letters added to the English language, so they're the two in the bottom corner. They're not quite the bottom corner, but and that's why there's less J's in the case.
It's like an afterthought.
Yeah, exactly.
We've been talking a lot about the humor of Black River Letterpress and Paper Company. Mm-hmm. Looking at the humor of the cards, do people just assume you're an awful person?
Well, if I'm an awful person, I guess there's a lot of people that have the same sense of humor as me because a lot of people laugh at my cards. Pre-tariffs, I was getting a lot of orders from the States. So depending on which side of the country we're ordering, you could see kind of where they swayed. So California had the deeper, like the dark side of the humor as me. New York City, and you get Midwest, and it's kind of like mid-range as to where your humor is, depending on which state they're in.
Interesting.
Even in Canada, it's the same. You kind of get, it's kind of a smattering of, but I think a lot of times too, it's the person who's your purchaser. They know the humor of their customers as well. So maybe they're all awful people. Maybe they're all good people. I don't know. If they're buying my cards in my books, they're good people. But,
well, you told the story about how you've had people throw your cards at you.
Yeah.
Is that more of like they walk across your table at like a trade show or something like that, and they go, "This is disgusting," and then they throw it at you?
Not quite that. Just like, ugh. And then they read the card and they look at it and then they toss it back.
You're an awful person.
I've never caught a card in the throat or anything.
I wanted to do this without losing my questions. You're an awful person. Brett, that didn't work out the way I wanted it to. Owner of Black River Letterpress and Paper Company, Brett Hill. I was going to say Hall for some reason, and we talked.
I get that.
And we talked about how people screw up your last name a lot. I was going to say Hall. Don't ask me why, Brett. I don't want to do that to you. I don't want you to feel any less than when you're here. We're talking about the Black River Letterpress and Paper Company. Where would you like to see the future of that?
I think I would like to grow it more into the design side of it, where I'm helping stores develop products. And
there's a lot happening on Main Street today.
Yeah. I like the letterpress. I want to keep going with the letterpress, but there's also, I find as I get older, my interests change and the direction of my life change. My personality changes a little bit. I guess you're growing as a person, you could say. So growing into different things. Like if I look at my cards, I can see where I was at in life. Like grieving, mourning, I don't care. Like life's going okay. Oh, pandemic. Like I can hit all these marks by looking at my catalog and saying like, 2020, I did that one. That's a 21 card. That's a 22 card. I just know from the state of mind I was in at the time. And then, and then I met my current wife or my current wife, a bad idea. Bad way of saying
My current wife.
I met my wife. And then you see the personality change because I kind of had an objectional third party in my ear saying, a disagreement over stuff and me saying, and I'm doing it anyways. And then it kind of, sorry about the swears. And then also taking into her thoughts and a comment and like the things that we say to one another, like I have the one that she always says the universe is listening.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of negative self-talk, I think, for a couple years. And then things got better when Lisa was around. And so my personality changed and I started seeing things differently.
Yeah.
And so I think that kind of played into the way I was going with my work. And then, happily married now for almost 2 years, raising kids, all these different things are happening again. So it's changing the way my outlook of the world. So it kind of changes. I'm not such a pessimist, I'm more of an optimist. And then, I can do happy and I can do sad and I can do funny and I can do irreverent humor. And I continue having my own ideas, but then I have stores saying to me, oh, can you do this for me? And can you do that? Or can you make me a custom postcard?
Yeah.
I want a t-shirt. So that's I'm kind of looking to set up the business to keep doing what I'm doing, but also provide my services to other people who, I want a card or I want a shirt or I want a bag or I want my own wrapping paper.
Yeah.
I have all these skills. I'm an illustrator, a photographer, a graphic designer. I can help these people do this kind of stuff.
It's taking your creativity and adding it to other people's creativity. I think it's impressive. The other question I wanted to ask you, is there a want? You had talked about making it, like not necessarily bigger, but branching it out. But is there a want to making it like more of like a bigger, maybe a corporate endeavor, or do you really like the idea of its small town feel?
I wouldn't mind taking it bigger, but I would need somebody else to run it.
Fair
I am
enough.
more of a creative person and I'm scattered, very creative. And I think running the business part and growing the business is more of something somebody could do better than me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm perfectly happy designing for somebody else. And just, like I always said, I wanted a company where I could just give people ideas and they could run with it or produce something and then say, here it is, go, let me get on to the next thing.
Yeah, that's the dream. Brett, right after this segment, we're going to get into the D20 questions.
Okay.
So I don't want you to go anywhere. Again, I want you to stay right there, and I want you to stay right there. I'm going to stay right here for about 5 more seconds while I tell you to don't go anywhere. Welcome back to this episode of By the Wayside. This is the infamous D20 question segment. Brett, do you play Dungeons and Dragons? Have you ever played Dungeons and Dragons?
Once, maybe.
Okay, fair enough. I know that a D20 can be used for all sorts of different things, like different tabletop games, different, like even card games and board games and all that stuff. But for today's purposes, of course, we're using it in the D20 questions. You and I had talked off camera about the rules are. The rules will actually pop up here on the screen so that I don't have to keep going over them over and over and over again. I'm going to get you to roll that D20 and we're going to see whether or not you get a serious or a silly question.
Very silly. Oh.
You get a 2, which of course is a serious question. I'm sorry about that. 2. And little side note, a little bit lore about me. 2 is my favorite number.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I don't know if that, you said J's were the least used letter.
Yeah.
I'll tell you 2s are my favorite thing. It has no bearing on your life whatsoever in any way, shape, or form.
All right.
This is a serious question right here. So I got a broken heart this time. Usually I put a sad face, but I put a broken heart this time. So we're going to get right into the serious question. Brett,
yes,
owner of Black River Letterpress and Paper Company, some of your greeting cards teeter on the fulcrum of of obscene or awful humor. Has there been extreme negative pushback to your work, and how have you responded to it?
I have one. I have a line of divorce cards.
Okay.
They're funny, having gone through a separation and all that fun stuff. And it was a card. It's half of a card. It's a card cut in half.
Oh.
And it says, "Here's your half of the card. Happy divorce." So the store I was selling in, the woman customer came in, got really irate. "This is not funny. How can you do this?" And give them big long diatribe. So the owner sent it to me and said, what should I do about this? And I said, how old was it? Because she was very offended. My parents are getting divorced.
Yeah.
This is not funny. And I said, okay, well, if you're a teenager maybe, or early 20s, the woman was like 43. Her parents had been married they were in their late 70s.
Okay.
And getting divorced.
That's crazy.
There's obviously been problems for a while, I would assume, at that point. But like, she just looked like a person who gets offended for everything.
Yes.
So I don't really get that bothered. Like, there's things in life that bother me, but at the end of the day, flip the page, turn the channel. It doesn't affect my life.
Yeah.
Like, you've got more of a hang up on problems in life. Like, let it go. Like, somebody cuts you off in traffic, does it ruin your day? Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes.
I don't let stuff go. I get off. I'm sorry, I'm digressing from the question.
My grudges are legendary.
But some people have grudges, and some people it ruins your day. And I don't understand there's comedians I don't find funny. I like a lot of comedians other people don't like, but perfect example, my first meeting with my wife, we were talking about comedy, and she goes, oh, I love Jeff Dunham. And my first thought was, I don't know if I can do this relationship, because I don't like Jeff Dunham. Lots of people like Jeff Dunham.
Yeah.
I don't find him funny. But yeah, here we are 5 years later, we're still together. So I've never had to watch a Jeff Dunham special with her, though. So
it's good.
Again, I don't know if I answered the question.
You did.
I honestly feel like just people you don't know, it doesn't really affect your life. Like,
it's how if you can let Brett, I figured out exactly what it is. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. I'm rubber, you're glue. Whatever you say to me bounces up me and sticks to you.
It's like burning books or whatever.
We did it.
People, you want to, you don't like Animal Farm. So Animal Farm's my favorite book, side note. But how many times has it been burned or banned from schools, or Catcher in the Rye? And it's like, don't read it.
It all comes down to personal preference, I think.
Exactly.
I think it really that's exactly what it does.
Yeah.
Brett, I want to thank you again for coming into Wayside Comics and Cocktails in Newmarket, Ontario, letting me introduce you and your creativity to everybody that's watching at home. And all of your information, of course, is going to pop up. They're going to be able to go and check you out on your Instagram and your website and all the amazing things that you are doing. And I thank you again.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Awesome. Stick around. There's just a little bit more left in this episode. And yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to know what I absolutely love about recording here at Wayside Comics and Cocktails in Newmarket, Ontario? It's that I like it. It's a place that makes me feel safe. It's a place that makes me feel included, and I love it here. If you're ever in Newmarket, Ontario, I encourage you to come to Wayside Comics and Cocktails in Newmarket on Main Street. Check it out. Say hi to Omar. He's a fun guy. There you go, Omar. I said something nice about you. Of course, I want to thank my guest, Brett, for coming on the show talking about Black River Letterpress and Paper Company. It's always fun to learn about those small businesses that are doing their best to be creative in a world where sometimes creativity just gets fallen behind. And I think my collar's all weird here. Don't want to wreck my mic. How's my collar? Is it good? Okay, we're all on the same page. Thanks again, Brett. I really appreciate it. Now you're picking up what I'm putting down. We're all on the same page? Let's do the social media real quick. I don't want you to forget that I am encouraging you to do Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, the website. Follow along, like, subscribe, comment, tell your friends, tell your family. It's really important. Your support means the world to me, and I believe that wholeheartedly. I love doing what I do, and by you subscribing and you liking and you commenting says, hey, Jordan, we like it too. Let's go back over here because we're gonna wrap up this episode, this really fun episode of By the Wayside. Again, I am your host, Jordan Middlebrook. You can follow me here if you want on social media. You can like my funny thing that I think I'm funny. I don't know. Sometimes I'm funny, sometimes I'm not. Mostly I'm just an idiot. But at that same time, I want you to remember, I love you. And I'll catch you by the wayside. Please don't forget, if you want to be a guest on By the Wayside and have more guts than this guy, use this email, reach out.